We're live.
All right. Nice.
That time, finally. We just tried for about 2 hours to get this
Jesus,
working.
internet is terrible.
So welcome to the first stream of
two guys,
a
red and a lager.
There you go.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure the name out. Hopefully this gets to YouTube or this gets to another streaming service, but
somewhere.
We're trying this out right now. You know, we were a couple of Periscope guys that really couldn't find a niche
because we wouldn't take our clothes off.
Right? Yeah, we weren't smoking weed on the on stream.
We weren't a couple of girls going, "Let me show you how to give a blow job."
Right. So we're trying this out. We're going to be talking about football, everything football. As we stream this is Thursday, January 21st. We're 3 days away from the championship games.
We're a little late.
To the party. Now we did start streaming in the preseason. So,
we did, but we
took about a 10-week hiatus, and now we're back.
Where were the Jets at that point?
They were.
We were. What were you? No, we. They
were 4-1, 5-1.
Yeah, we were there.
So
and we went on that tear of just losses.
And now we get to see another Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning.
Oh God.
So that's gonna be fun.
I really hope Peyton wins. Just because he's on his way out. I mean, he is like the busted wheel right now.
I'm just so sick of watching it's... How much more can we take? Like, how much more Brady, man? I know this is probably Manning's last year, but still, it's like, how much more can we take of this?
Yeah, but the thing of it is, it would be like if it was like, if Brady won 3, Manning won 3, you know what I mean? Or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that it, for the most part, has been so one-sided. I mean, I'm not as upset about seeing Manning in it as I am upset about seeing Brady in it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you have to give it to Tom Brady. At the end of the day, he is probably the best quarterback of our lifetime.
Well, he's got the hardware.
Yeah, definitely has the hardware. He has the no wide receiver.
He does.
I mean, can we name... all right, Randy Moss, fine, but he didn't win the Super Bowl with Randy Moss.
No.
But, I mean, Troy Brown was his best receiver.
Oh, Jesus.
And is that saying anything?
Well, no, I mean, if you
Wes Welker?
If you look at guys now, if you look at Edelman, you look at Amendola, he's got the midget squad out there.
Yeah.
But hey, they're players. They're players. So if you actually look at the fact that he's won as many Super Bowls as has with as many different receiving cores, all on the size of, let's be honest, 5'10".
Right.
That's pretty impressive. I don't think Tom knows how to throw to guys over 6'3". That's why he throws a lot of low balls.
Right.
This is a guy who's got a high release and a low delivery because he's got to get it to them.
Well, I mean, imagine this team if Aaron Hernandez wasn't a gangbanger.
Oh, Jesus.
And he had him, Gronkowski, Amendola, Edelman. I mean, then you're talking about receivers.
Well,
but it's always that, that problem where it's like a concussion for Edelman or some crime that happened or Welker's
Amendola gets an injury.
Right, or Welker's saying things he shouldn't be saying, gets suspended. I mean, there's always something, but he always prevails.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. If you really look at that with Hernandez and Gronkowski, there's a pretty good chance they could have kept them all. I mean, in this day and age with the salary cap, if Hernandez wasn't what he was, so
that's true.
Listen, I haven't been following the case.
Yeah.
But if he wasn't what he was right now, he's behind jail. I don't know if you would have been able to keep them together as long as you possibly
That's a good
have.
point.
So,
That's a good point.
I don't think you would have been running with Gronkowski and Hernandez at the same time.
Right.
But the thing of it is, they do such a great job of developing people. And you know what? You and I both know we fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Because we're Jet fans.
Yeah.
And that's got to be known right now.
If you didn't know by now, we're
Jet fans.
Yes. There's not going to be any bias on this podcast.
None.
But we are Jets fans, full disclosure. We will be talking shit about the Buffalo Bills and how Rex Ryan decides to hire the first female. I'm sure there's no foot fetish.
Do you mean Rob? Oh, the actual female assistant.
The actual female, yeah. Rob was right. Rob is a client.
I heard a great quote the other. This guy said he got on site. It was great. He said he calls in and he goes, "Oh my God, I'm so excited. We've hired Rob Ryan. So that basically means we're at least a 2-14 team." And he was a fan, and I couldn't believe it.
I mean, Buffalo wasn't terrible last year. They were an 8-8 team.
And Rex is the defensive genius,
right.
And their defense was the problem.
Yeah, so
now you're bringing your brother?
Your brother as the assistant head coach, mind you. And is Rex the type of guy that's going to turn around to his brother and say, Rob, you're doing a bad job. I mean, they were joking
Christmas
around.
would be uncomfortable.
They were joking around, and you know what? I think this is a situation where I think Rex is feeling this too. It's a situation of it's almost a Titanic situation where we're going to go down with this
together.
Shit
exactly.
Together.
There are a couple of musicians on the deck right now we're going down
and
together.
Rob Ryan, look, I mean, let's be honest. Rob Ryan is not the greatest defensive coordinator. I mean, he flamed out in New Orleans. You can go back to his Oakland days where he wasn't that great. Cleveland. I mean, he's been bouncing around. St. Louis. So, look, this is probably it. And if this wasn't his brother...
I don't think Rob's ever getting the head coaching job they always wanted him to get.
No. I think this is his last hurrah. Now, look.
Well, there's always college.
Yes, but if Buffalo... Now, let's be fair. Buffalo goes out and maybe hits the conference championship, or whatever. Yeah. Then I could see maybe Rob getting consideration. But the problem is, you know what it is? You're gonna see more of the Buffalo Bills sideline than you're gonna see of the game, and that's the problem. And that's why Sean Payton was getting pissed, because it's like, well, the camera's always on Rob, and it's not his team, and the defense is shit. Right? Crap. I mean, come on now. Like, there's got to be considerations here when you look at a pro football team and saying, well, we need a good defense, but if it's Rob Ryan, maybe we'll pass because he is a circus act.
Yeah, it's really sad because those guys are actually very talented guys. I mean, I think what happens is they bring a lot of undue sort of attention onto themselves, which necessarily didn't have to do. I mean, everybody knew they were good. I mean, Rob was with the Patriots when they won the Super Bowls. So the thing of it is, it's like if they weren't so full of themselves, so to speak, you could have just sort of glide under the radar and this and that. But you got to give it to the Ryans. They like to be out in front of everything. Oh, yeah. They like to put the bullseye on their chest and and run with it that way.
Well, I think it goes back to Rex winning for the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. I mean, that was always speculated how Brian Billick didn't really coach that team. It was Rex's team. And I think that's where the Ryans became this kind of figurehead in the league of this genius defense mentality. But again, I mean, you got to prove it. You can't go 8-8 every year.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's also a mentality that people have caught on. So, team, there's only so many times you're going to run all your blitzes and all your stuff at the same guy, like a Brady or someone who's eventually just going to pick it up and realize, you know what, you can get to me, but this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
I'm going to get rid of the ball faster. Nothing beats the blitz faster than getting rid of the ball. So
that's true.
It'll be interesting. What about Miami, though?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're not here in AFC, but I guess it's realistically just being a couple of Jet guys.
Yeah, we'll touch on.
We were supposed to who in the beginning of the year every pundit said Patriots got the division. Hey, they were right, and you couldn't even argue that. They gave the Bills, but they gave it to Miami because of Ryan Tannehill. They were like, he was the next coming of Christ.
Yeah.
They said the thing is, he had proved nothing in his past. He had done nothing to show you that he's just, let's be honest, he's an above, no, not even, he's an average quarterback who just happens to be, 6'4" and a white guy.
Right.
And because of that, all of a sudden, and he can throw the ball. All of a sudden, he's a savior. So he did nothing. Mike Tannenbaum, who is notorious for overpaying players who don't deserve it, gives him a new contract. And everybody says, well, if he got a new contract, he must be good this year.
Right.
And look how that turned out. 2 beatdowns by our Jets.
Yeah, I mean, the coach that they got is respected. Now, you could say the same thing about the coach that they had.
Who's the coach you're getting now? Who's the new one?
Adam Gase.
Adam Gase, that's what it was. From Broncos? No.
Yeah, he was from Chicago.
Chicago.
So Adam Gase's
quarterback coach, right?
Yeah. So Peyton Manning loved him, and when he left, that's when Peyton Manning's downward spiral kind of happened this year.
Sure.
He followed John Fox to Chicago this year,
got it.
And he's being credited with turning around Jay Cutler's career.
Jay Cutler had a really good year. Yeah. Limited turnovers.
Now, let's just say that Miami is kind of reliving a deja vu moment, because if you remember the coach they hired from Green Bay, he was credited with Matt Flynn's turnaround in the 6-touchdown game. So, I mean, you never know. But Adam Gase is well respected. You have to fear Miami. I mean, in the AFC East, these teams are going to get better.
Yeah.
And as Jet fans, we look at our roster. This was the year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a losing talent year. It's not going to be a gaining.
It's not even just the AFC. You have to look at the gauntlet of quarterbacks we play next year, and you got to look at the divisions we play, and it could be a really tough year next year.
I agree.
So, but at the same time, you know what? We all play within the same salary cap, and hopefully the Jets organization decides to get a little bit younger in certain places. And you really never know. Because, and that's the thing about the NFL is that there is a salary cap of which we all have to sort of play underneath.
Right.
And at least it keeps it fair. You know, this isn't the Yankees, and all of a sudden, you're the you're the Cincinnati Reds or something, and you only have a certain amount of money, and the Yankees go out and spend, and have no problems paying that luxury tax or whatever they have to pay.
You don't
for
have
that.
Yeah.
That is one of the things. But anyway, championship weekend.
Yep.
So we're back to Brady and Manning.
Yeah. So I mean,
and then Carson Palmer.
Right now. So for anybody who doesn't know, we're speaking from Carolina.
We are in Charlotte. We're right down the street.
20 minutes away from the stadium.
20 minutes.
So it's very exciting for us as football fans.
Do you feel it here, though? See, I don't feel
in
New York, you felt it. It was like everything that people did when the Jets were in the AFC champ. Yeah. Everybody felt it. It was electricity. Here, I don't feel it.
The problem is the transplant aspect.
Oh, yeah.
They're all different fans.
You're
right. You go to a bar right now.
Yeah, of course.
The guys that you were seeing wearing Steelers jerseys are now wearing Panthers gear. So, that's... And I think at this point, you're getting the corporate fan because they can afford the ticket.
Yeah.
But I'm not taking anything away from what the Panthers...
Bankers.
I'm not taking anything away from what the Panthers are doing. I think the Panthers do a really good job of catering to the fans in that stadium. Obviously, Cam Newton gives balls away to kids.
That's great. It's a nice thing.
It is a nice thing.
It's fine for that, too.
Oh, yeah. I think, it's speculated. I mean, there was rumors that he was getting $10,000 a ball, but then I guess the NFL waived it. But, I think it's a good thing for the city.
Yeah.
I just think, and maybe it's deserved, but I don't think Charlotte's that great of a football team. I mean, they do so well.
They're a great first half team.
It reminds me of the Tom Coughlin Giants. Yeah. Remember seeing those guys where they would put up it would be 28-7, and all of a sudden he'd run, punt, run, punt. Ron Rivera has that mentality where he just kind of gives up.
Yeah, it's a very scary team right now because the thing of it is there's something like. One of the things that I loved about the Jets this year is we were a second half team. So if we got behind, you actually come to them. We're a second half team. I mean, there's been some scary games right now. And to be honest with you, if I'm the Panthers and I end up playing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, which I hope he doesn't, I just would be really nervous. I mean, when Eli came back from that 35-7 and they probably should have won that game, and Seattle last week stormed the comeback after being behind so much, that team just seems to come out of they're like sprinters. They're not marathon. They're not marathoners. Man.
I think Josh Norman's overrated.
I don't know. I think he's played pretty well this year. I mean, I'm not.
I've seen. I mean, look. I mean, the past. Look at the past.
He's going to get paid.
Weeks.
He gets paid.
I know he's going to get paid. Yeah, but I mean, Odell Beckham torched him second half. Baldwin torches him second half. I mean, the
whole secondary. They gave up 3 touchdowns last week to Seattle.
Look who they're versing this week. You have some burners. You have Fitzgerald who can catch anything.
If you don't get to Carson Palmer, you can easily get burned by Fitzgerald, John Brown, Michael Floyd. Oh, by the way, David Johnson out of the backfield.
Yep. And then Nelson, who's their speed guy, which I don't even know if they have anybody to cover him. I mean, Cortland Finnegan's 57 years old.
But again, here's the one thing I've always said: the best shutdown corner is a pass rush. If you can get to Carson Palmer, it's over with.
Right.
If you can't get to him, it's over with.
Their key has always been their linebackers. I mean, they have some.
Would you kill for Luke Kuechly?
Oh God, yeah.
I don't even know what to say. Kuechly. I don't even know what to say. But that guy, that's a player, man. Who he reminds me of? Who's the guy from Chicago? For the long time, Chicago running Urlacher. Just a guy, a centerpiece. Should build or a Ray Lewis should build the whole team around.
And he was a late first round pick. He wasn't expected to do this. And it's funny too. I mean, Thomas Davis, another guy who's been in a blue uniform for 10 years at least. The guy gives back to the community, and man, he is playing like he's 20. But again, it all depends. And I mean, if you want to talk about some Arizona, Arizona's really good. I mean,
very good.
Yeah, I mean, newsflash. I mean, maybe Green Bay played him close, and they're getting some disrespect this week because of that, especially from Vegas. But it doesn't matter. I mean, Carson Palmer is having a resurgence. Bruce Arians, by the way.
Fantastic.
They give a lot of credit to Chuck Pagano. Yeah. Bruce Arians made Andrew Luck what he was.
Do you know what's so funny about Bruce Arians? He's kind of like the hippie coach.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's like the guy. He's up there a little bit in age as far as NFL coaching is concerned, but he just gets this very youthful demeanor behind him.
Right.
And I think and he's got this sort of, and he's adaptable. Yeah. And I think people just like that. He almost seems like the kind of guy, like, if he's got nephews, and maybe he does, who are like, he's the cool uncle. You know what I mean?
No, it's true.
And the guys seem to play that with him. And it's tough. The tough loss with them in the secondary was the Honey Badger. Him being down. But you know what? Defense is still playing well. I think it's going to be a battle this week. I think that's going to be more of a battle than maybe the AFC game this week. I think the AFC game's lopsided. But by the way, lopsided meaning Patriots dominate Broncos or Broncos dominate Patriots.
Remember, Tom Brady has not been successful in Denver. He's beaten Danny Cannell, I believe, and Tim Tebow. Were his only 2 wins in Denver, and remember that Tebow game.
Well, because he's used to playing from home.
Yeah, I know. But, that's true. But it'll be interesting. You almost want to see as football fans, as Jets fans definitely, but as football fans, you almost want to see Peyton win this game because it's a swan song year, I feel like.
Yeah, I think I am all about, and by the way, full disclosure, I do have a bet on the Carolina Panthers winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, well, there you go.
But,
no,
but on the flip side, I am all for if Peyton got the W, I'd be happy. I would actually feel like right off into the sunset.
Oh, yeah.
Don't try to come back. Broncos are moving on from you anyway.
Right.
I would actually be really happy for him. I think he needs that win because as of right now, he will always be considered the greatest quarterback in regular season.
Yes.
But postseason,
no,
it's just never been.
It's Tom Brady.
So it would be cool. Like at least if he got the last one on the way out, and he got last one on the way out, then it'd be like, you'd forget everything else. You'd be like, well, he has 2 Super Bowls. I mean, all right, so he lost another one. But,
Yeah, I don't think he can lose another one. The thing with Denver...
And let's be honest, how many did Tom Brady get away with the pre-cheating scandal?
That's true.
Look, I'm not trying to be... But those first couple of Super Bowls the Patriots had were so close.
Yes.
Decided by field goals. And again, I'm not... Listen, I don't want to take it.
Look at the one with the Rams where it was a yard away.
A yard away.
Right.
What is the difference in field position on that one?
It's unbelievable. And Anna Vinatieri should get medals for those.
I don't want to bring up I'm not trying to be... But you cannot not think about those first 3 Super Bowls and be like, they were so... They weren't blowouts.
Yeah.
Like if the Patriots went in and routed 48-7. Like when the Seattle... 3 years ago, was it 3 years ago? When they routed the Broncos.
Oh, yes.
Like, that you would go, but those other ones were so close. And then after Spygate, those Super Bowls were so... And last year's Super Bowl, come on.
Yeah. And they knew they were cheating, too, in that game.
They knew
I
don't even want to say cheating, but it's like Seattle makes a couple little things there, and maybe give it to Marshawn 1 or 2 runs. But it was a good... It was a good play. But literally,
you almost think that there was some, you hate to say it, but some money being slid under the table for letting Russell Wilson throw that fucking ball. Jesus.
Well, you know what? Listen, the thing of it is, from an ex-player, by the way, from high school football and college, in Division III. No, but the thing is, my understanding is that the play was there. The guy made a good play on it. I just would think, look, man, you got Marshawn, angry Lynch in the background,
right.
Why not? But look, we can't pick that to death. But again, that was just another Super Bowl that was won by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, listen, I think, when you look at Pro Football Talk today, they already have their picks in. Both of their pundits believe that Denver will lose by I think over 10.
Oh wow!
So they're they think the Patriots are going to destroy Denver. Now, I guess you have to base it on last week where Denver didn't look too sharp against the Steelers, especially without Antonio Brown. I guess.
Yeah, but who on the Patriots is Antonio Brown?
Yeah, and I guess the argument is that you could pick apart the Broncos with Gronkowski and Edelman, but that's what the Patriots do anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't, just because the Broncos have maybe some kind of weakness in their linebacker core, doesn't mean that that New England would change their game plan. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what they do.
We can talk to it as Jets fans. We see this 2 times a year, or hopefully 3, but where we see Tom Brady throwing 8-yard, 7-yard slant routes where it gets
Oh,
picked
that's
up to their running back, and this is what they
That's
do.
it.
So they're not reinventing the wheel in this game.
No.
It's going to be that. So the question is, what is Bill Belichick going to do? And this is what I think. I think Bill Belichick is going to say, hey, Peyton, we're going to take away your tight end. We're going to take away the short passes. Throw deep on us. Throw deep. We'll put Talib 30 yards back. I'm sorry, not Talib. We'll put, what's his face? Patrick Chung or whatever, 30 yards back. Beat us.
Yeah.
Beat us. And that's where Peyton will falter, I think, because if you looked at the last game, now I know there's some drops.
He's also been, there was a lot of drops.
But his deep ball looks very fluttery. It looks like when you say duck, it looks like, and look, I know he's old. I mean, I'm not trying to, I don't want to make this where we're bashing Peyton Manning because he's a great player.
Sure.
But there's age is a big consideration.
But what do the Patriots do? They take away their number one player.
Right.
So who are they going to take away? They're going to take away Sanders?
Well, Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas? Still got Sanders.
Yeah.
Still got C.J. Anderson.
But I think
it's not exactly like they shut down the run.
No.
They don't shut the run.
Yeah.
And Ronnie Hillman. Pretty quick backs through the hole.
And by the way, Vernon Davis didn't see one snap last week.
I know.
That's kind of, is that weird?
I think Vernon Davis went, talk about falling off a cliff. Some guys have a drop off.
Yeah.
That guy basically hit a cliff and just dropped off.
That doesn't make any sense.
Which is crazy because I remember, and again, going back to those 49er, right before when they lost to the Giants, the one year they lost to the Giants, and the following year, obviously, they went to the Super Bowl, but he was a machine on the field.
Right.
I mean, I remember the up and out routes he was catching against the Giants, that was a wide receiver.
Yeah.
At tight end at his size. And talk about, I thought, when he got free, I thought, the Jets seen it. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But you know what? But who knows? Who knows?
Well, I think Mike Singletary did him a favor, too, getting in his face, because he was a lazy player for a while. And that guy, and if you remember that draft, he was considered like... He could have been the number 1 overall pick.
Was he number 4 or 9 or something? He was in the top 10, I
And
believe.
they said if he had his head on his shoulders, he could have been the number 1 overall pick. I mean, he was an athletic freak.
Maryland, too.
Yeah.
He was Maryland.
But that was the thing. His head was never on his shoulders. I mean, we can talk all day about...
Well, I think what happens is a guy like that, you're so physically gifted from Pee Wee football to whatever small school, to high school football... you go to Maryland, you're a stud there. You've never really had to, you're not an Amendola or an Edelman who's sort of, oh my God, I have to give 100% every play because if not, I can end up on the streets.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean,
that's what I've always said about quarterbacks. Like a couple of years ago, when Cutler was coming out, I was like, Cutler made Vanderbilt better. Mm-hmm. Vanderbilt didn't make Cutler better.
Yeah.
So when Sanchez came out, and he brought us to 2 championships, albeit he played great in the playoffs. He killed us sometimes, the other thing. But he was on a team that was great. So I'm always a big fan of the guy who makes his team better.
Well, I mean, talking to Sanchez, too, I think, and this goes back to Tyrod Taylor, Rex Ryan just needs a game manager. Yeah. Unfortunately, for Mark Sanchez, he just threw too many interceptions and had too many turnovers. Otherwise, he would, look... When he filled in for Foles. He played all right. Now, I know he threw a lot of
I don't know. If you look at his numbers, he was like 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, or whatever.
But but then when you look now, and we can get into Chip Kelly if you want, because I think that's so ridiculous. But he, and I guess it's a system, but Sam Bradford does not look good at all. And he had a second shot, and then look, Nick Foles on the opposite side in St. Louis does not look good. And it gets back to your point, too, about Tannehill, where it's like, where are the quarterbacks?
Yeah, well, that's college nowadays.
Yeah.
See, and the whole thing is the NFL is like, college ranks. What is it? They college coaches are paid to win, not to farm the NFL.
It's not a minor league system.
It's not a minor league system. So, and that's the whole thing. So, like, right now, I could see why a guy like Christian Hackenberg from Penn State is like, well, I'm going to come out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're a 6'5" white guy with pocket passer with a good arm. And I only say that because you're considered a prototypical. But if you look at his stats and his numbers, they're not pretty. No. But the thing is, if you look at and I say this every year, 90%, 95% of the time, whoever gets to the playoffs, into the Super Bowl and wins, it's a pocket passer. Mm-hmm. I will give you Russell Wilson a few years ago when he was still running around a little bit, making play, but they had Marshawn Lynch, and they had some playmakers. But for the most part, when you get into December, the guy who can make all the throws, 6 yards deep from 6 yards to either side, that's what you're looking for.
Right.
The problem is the college ranks anymore, they're not producing those guys. I mean, now, what is it? Was it the North Dakota State guy or North Dakota guy? I can't remember that. Like, he's considered a top prospect. Why? Because he's one of the very few guys that still plays from the pocket.
Right. Well, I could see you mentioned before, like, college is about winning, but I can also see for a small-time coach from a North Dakota State developing or going to that pro football system, NFL system, because it maybe brings in more talent, saying, look who got drafted in the second round.
Right.
Oh, it was my starting quarterback. Do you want to come and play for us?
But at the same time, if you're a guy getting paid $1.5–2 million a year and you're going to run a system where that guy's that, but you're not producing, then all of a sudden you're out of a job.
Right.
So you get a freak of an athlete like who's the guy at Ohio State? J.T. Barrett or something like that. Or the guy who's
Cardale Jones.
Or even prior to that, the guy who's in the NFL right now, played wide receiver at the Browns, got the tattoos, Ohio State,
Yeah.
Anyway, when you got a guy like that who may not be a big pocket passer, but he's going to make plays with his legs. He's going to run around. And you know what? He's going to win you games. You're going to go to bowl games. You're going to make millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
I'm not here for the NFL.
Yep. No, I agree with that.
And that's one of the things. I think the NFL a lot of times looks down at the college ranks like, come on, you got to help us. And they're like, you're not helping. If I get fired, you're not helping me.
Well, I think
create a farm team.
That's why it's hard to trust running backs and quarterbacks from a school like Alabama, from a school like LSU.
Eddie Lacy, look at that. First year, good.
Yeah.
This year, I don't know. Did he work at Domino's?
Wasn't that funny
what
too?
Was his deal?
Mike McCarthy called him out for being overweight.
Yeah,
it's like pot calling kettle right
it's
there.
Like but the thing of it is, Mike McCarthy can be overweight. He sits on the sideline.
Yeah.
You are overweight. You're paying me millions of dollars because I'm buying your machine.
Well, James Starks was better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
But I'm buying
proof.
your machine. Your machine is your body. That's what I'm paying for. I'm not paying for your personality.
Or your draft status.
Or your draft status.
Right.
I am paying you for that.
Yeah.
Come on, we got the number one right now. D. Milner.
Yeah. Let's look at Quentin Copels. Let's go down the list of guys who drafted in the first round of the
Look at D. Milner. Here was a guy who came from a team with a great pass rush, so he had to stick with a receiver for 2 seconds, and the throw was probably fast, and he made a play, or his guy sacked somebody.
Yeah.
Get to the NFL, and you're not playing with that team. And that's another thing that I never get. Find me the corner that's a stud on a defense because he's a stud, not because of the pass rush.
Well, that was supposed to be Kyle Wilson from Kansas.
No. Boise State.
Oh, Boise State. I'm sorry. Yes. So that was supposed to be him.
First round, late first round.
It was late.
Well,
it was.
look at that.
Or Quentin Copels from North Carolina.
Still, you know what? Still making tackles after the catch. What is it? Wait, hold on. Saints, right? He's with the Saints
I believe
right
so,
now.
yeah.
That defense is just doing so.
Well, I'm sure Rex did his brother a favor by saying, "Hey, take this guy. He's all right."
Kyle, I stick up for him. Hey, but you know what? Kyle got paid. That's all that matters. Get paid. Save your money.
Now, getting to Chip Kelly if you want.
Chip.
I think he's now. I know they interviewed Tom Coughlin.
He's a genius.
He sold Jed York on change. I swear to God, he sold him on Kaepernick.
Do you know what he did?
He says he could change Kaepernick.
He basically was like, "Look, did you ever see me run the Oregon offense in Philadelphia? I tried. I thought Sam Bradford ran 4.2.
Yeah, with his jelly arm and jelly everything that gets injured. But you know what? Hey, I'm actually.
It's interesting.
I don't want to say excited, but him and Kaepernick, I think it'll be interesting. It's intriguing.
You can really run the spread with him now.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because the thing is, there was no spread with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like if your defense, here was the deal. You were like, I'm always going to take the run because even if Bradford keeps it, my safety on the far side of the field will still run him down behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I just find it funny how. And it's hard. We're in a period of time where Oscars are saying, we're too white.
What's that? No. Do you mean too right?
Too right.
Too right? Too white?
Too white?
Too right? Too wrong?
Yeah.
Wait a second. I know that's a whole other fucked up.
But you know what? These.
By the way, Will Smith was great in Concussion. Don't know if you saw it.
Yes.
He was great.
Oh no, you know what? Hey, this is part of my little rant to you. Well, not rant, but. I just find it funny how these white old coaches get second chances a year. No, I'm sorry, not a year. A second after they leave their team, And even Tom Coughlin, he says he resigned. Well, I can't really do much more with this team. I want to spend time with my family. As soon as he resigns, all of a sudden, he's interviewing with, San Francisco, Philadelphia. So, and then, all right, Hugh Jackson got hired. But when you look at a guy like Mike Tomlin, great coach, perennial playoff contender. They lost their hands down best defensive coordinator that you've probably ever seen in the past 20 years. And Mike Tomlin's still doing it. And you know what? And I just don't understand. And I understand there's the Rooney Rule involved, but there's a lot of minority coaches and African American coaches, but it feels like, oh well, Chip Kelly, let's give him another job, or Tom Coughlin, let's give him another job. And I understand they have a good resume. Well, Chip Kelly, not really, but Tom Coughlin, yes,
sure.
But it's almost like the quarterback. I understand the white quarterback, even though Cam Newton's right now at one of the four. That white quarterback's always considered to be a better, quote unquote, because of the pocket presence.
Exactly, and I'll tell you what. and a lot of times when you say that, people start trying to interpret that as you're saying that a white quarterback is smarter. And the truth is, it's not.
No, it's not that.
What I've always said was this: if you're a very athletic person, white or black, and you've had 10,000 snaps, because you're so athletic, there's probably many of times that you've relied on your legs. So you've probably only played from the pocket 6,000 snaps because your legs have helped you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a Drew Brees or a Peyton Manning or an Eli Manning or a Fitzpatrick actually runs up. Yeah. Any of those, you don't know how to run. Mm-hmm. You run a 5.5 40.
Right.
So you've only played the game from the pocket. That's what I said about Michael Vick. Michael Vick, 10,000 snaps, probably only paid 3,000 from the pocket. You can't blame him, but it's just because his athleticism made him make plays.
Right.
Whereas these other ones couldn't. So they got a lot of trial by fire in the pocket, and that's where I think it comes from.
I agree with that, and it's just giving these guys a chance. I don't necessarily agree with bringing in. Now, San Francisco, these guys can do whatever they want. They own the football franchises. Yeah. But to bring a guy in when he was just... When you hear reports in Philadelphia where they couldn't wait to kick him out of the door.
Yeah.
And the guy is an egomaniac. Yeah. He wants full control.
Well, he doesn't have it there anymore. They were like, no thanks.
And you know what? I mean, honestly, you look at a guy like him, look... There's some racism there. I mean... Well,
if you're a black guy on the 49ers, you might be concerned about your job right now.
But this guy gets jobs and he gets offers. And, that's the problem is,
It is a little offensive in the NFL that have that Rooney Rule. Like, it's like, okay, you have to talk to a minority player.
Right.
It's like, not that you'd want to talk to one, but you have to. Well, how many? I'm sorry, really quick.
Yeah.
How many programs have probably just talked to their minority guy already in their system?
I was just about to say, well, Hugh Jackson, how many times was he interviewed in the past?
Yeah. Well, he got a job now.
Yeah, but I mean, he was interviewed 50 times.
Yeah.
And
you're like, hey, you, what are you doing right now?
Even
hey, it's lunchtime. Come on over. How many times did he order the GM sat with him at lunchtime? Like, what do you think about the job? I think it'd be really great.
Right.
Really think you do it? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, hey, great. Thanks talking to you. Yeah. Sign this document. Said you were the Rooney Rule.
Right. Oh, meanwhile, with Jack Del Rio, we want you back as a coach because you failed 5,000 times, but come back and be our coach. So
a couple of good years at Denver.
Yeah, and then he gets David Carr, but
no, that is a little. I think it's offensive that. It's like, well, because how many minority candidates probably walk into a room knowing I have no chance at this job.
Oh yeah.
I'll you know what? Probably professional. Like maybe a guy like Todd Bowles has done it. Probably did it with Miami.
Yep.
As a professional, prepared, but knowing at the end of the day, they're not going to hire me.
Oh yeah, and I think Hugh Jackson interviewed with Miami, interviewed with
Who did he end up with?
San Francisco, he interviewed with Cleveland.
Cleveland, that's what it was. Good pickup.
It was.
First thing he did is jump Johnny, right?
Yeah.
Dumped him. Smart.
And
get rid of that headache.
He also picked up a lot of the Miami guys who were kind of like left astray from that devastation that happened last year. And some of those guys.
Did he pick up Campbell?
I don't know if he picked up Campbell. I think he picked up a couple of defensive guys. Now, did you hear that report about Hugh Jackson?
No.
He said he's not going to bring in an offensive coordinator because he's the offensive coordinator. How the hell can you do that? You're the head coach.
I don't know.
You know, and I understand Rex kind of did that, but Mike Pettin was okay. You know, he was a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, the thing is, to me,
that's a
red flag to me. It's just like if I to me, it's like, how could you possibly oversee the whole team if half the game you're actually just paying attention because you have to the offense?
Well, his resume, what he said was, well, I controlled the Bengals offense. I deserve it. Really? You deserve it. I don't know if I just watched this past season. I understand Andy Dalton was injured, but you know, I mean, some of those calls were a little sketchy, and it wasn't like they were blowing up the world. I understand they were first place when Dalton went down. I get that. However,
I think the Jets would have lit him up.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, well, with AJ McCarron, I mean, geez, I think the Jaguars probably would have won that game, the way they played. But
let's not sleep on the Jaguars. They're getting
no, I agree with that.
That's a scary team. It's a very young team.
The only problem with the Jaguars is I feel like we're always a player away. You know, we're always a couple of guys away. I mean,
I don't know. I think they got him now. I'm sorry. They got quarterback in place. Robinson is a stud. Hurd is a stud.
They still only won, 6 games or 5 games?
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'm saying is they are maybe only are a player away.
Yeah.
Like, you got a quarterback now.
It could have been Justin Blackman, by the way.
Yeah. But did he just get arrested again?
I think he did, yeah.
He did. What a fucking idiot.
My God,
I'm sorry. Like, you know what? Here's my rant. You are a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. This is my tirade. You are in the NFL. You are a pro player. They are throwing money at you to play something you love. You did not show up at a temp agency or some place where you're like, hey, I need a job. And they're like, go play in the NFL. You're playing at something that kids dream about playing. They work so hard. Right now, there's a kid, as I'm speaking, he's on a field. He's running wind sprints. After that, he's hitting the gym. And his whole focus is to maybe get to college. Then, you know what? Get to the NFL. Or there are guys who went through college who are still doing it right now, who didn't get picked up last year, hoping to get picked up this year. They're fucking killing themselves to do it. Mm-hmm. And you can't keep your shit together. Now, if it's a substance abuse problem, I get it. Get some fucking help, man. Get some help.
He got first round money.
Help, man.
Yeah.
Get some help. I'm not saying that maybe whatever he's going through is easy. Get some help. Same thing with the Johnny Manziels and stuff like that. You fucking privileged kids.
Right. That's coming from...
All you have to do is watch that documentary that ESPN did on it was an ESPN one of their films, 60 for 60, whatever it was. And it had Matt Leinart and who was the quarterback who was from Texas. The guy who actually played for the Titans. Jesus, why can't I remember his name right now?
Not Cole McCoy.
No, the guy before him. Come on, he won the Rose Bowl. Jesus, what?
Oh, Vince Young.
Vince Young, thank you. Jesus, oh my God, if we didn't get that.
Yeah.
All you had to do is watch that sad, pathetic thing of those two guys who are only 30 years old, realizing how much they fucked up.
Well, yeah, you know, it's interesting you bring up Vince Young. And we're going way, but it's whatever. It's fine. This is what this podcast is.
By the way, it's two guys, a red and a lager. Who gives a shit? We are not on schedule here.
But the shit with Vince Young, have you seen any of that shit?
No, what happened?
His mother is crazy.
I didn't know that.
He went crazy because he apparently his mother felt lonely, so that's why he left football. Then, well, before any of this, he had an entourage in college. Decked out in diamonds. Now, the rumor has always been, and
that's great. You should totally pay for your friends.
Well, you can name that. We're like we joke about that Rose Bowl. Yeah. Who did Vincent play in that Rose Bowl? None other than Mr. Reggie Bush, who was also accused of getting some money under the table. Yeah. Those were the days, right, of college players.
Why do you think Pete Carroll was like, "What, Seattle?
Yeah,
you want to get me?"
Great opportunity. By the way, it was.
And then all of a sudden, they were out, right? They had some suspensions.
Yeah. And then they hired the drunk, but...
Sarkeesian. Mm-hmm. Hey, come on! Who has another drink? Gambling. Come on, you're having one right now.
That's true.
Wait a second. You're not in charge of 18.
We're not drinking here.
We are drinking here. It's a lager and a red.
But the funny part is that, Vince Young and Jeff Fisher loved him.
Yeah.
But Vince Young had a lot of talent. I think he came in for... Who the hell did he come in for? Hasselbeck? Not Hasselbeck. Who was?
No, Hasselbeck came there later. He came in for. Was it? Again, I'm guessing here, but was it the who had been with the Panthers, went to the Giants, and then ended quarterback? It wasn't Delhomme, right?
No,
it wasn't Delhomme. No, Delhomme's Panthers. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think who was at the Panthers. I almost think it was Kerry. Oh, I can't think of it. You know what? If we were a real studio here right now, we'd have 25 people. By the way,
unfortunately, we don't know everything about the history.
It's only because everybody else on the radio has people in their ears telling them.
Right, yeah. So full disclosure. We have a podcasting software in front of us. We have nothing. We're not researching data here.
Nothing.
So we're off the cusp. But you know what?
We're sitting at a dining room table.
Yeah, and
because that's what we do.
In the future,
just a couple of dudes talking about football.
Yeah, in the future we'll have this going streaming. You can ask some questions.
We'd love to have your questions.
Obviously, we'll give our Twitter at the end of this, and you can I'm sure it'll be our wives and friends probably. But,
my wife oh Jesus, really? That's what you're doing in there?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's a continuation of what we used to do.
Oh God.
This is what it is. I mean, we're going to be talking sports. We'll be talking football.
We don't do football.
We only do football, unless there is a huge game coming up. We may delve into.
I'm more
March
interested
Madness
about people's comments. I'd really love this to be interactive.
Yeah.
One of the things I hate is
if the internet worked, I can have the.
I know, but what I'm saying is, when we get all set up, one of the things that I hate is I listen to a lot of the radio shows, and I just feel like a lot of those guys just go on their diatribes about blah 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 blah. Blah. Okay, we're gonna take a couple of calls now, and it's like I just want calls. I just want to talk to people.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what
we don't have enough to talk about.
No, well, I mean, it's tough when you limit yourself to one sport. We can go. I mean, We could talk football all day.
All day.
I think it's too early to talk about the draft.
I would say. Doesn't free agency happen before the draft now, right? That's the whole thing now. Free agency happens on the first, so they change, right? That was the whole change because they wanted, and that changes the draft entirely. Because if you're somebody who needs a corner and you get a corner, well, that changes your draft stock. So.
Yeah, which I don't necessarily agree with because I think they already screwed the players with the salary structure. Now they're screwing the players again because maybe if you needed that top offensive lineman and who knows became available, and Joe Thomas, and you were able to get him. Then, I have the first pick. I don't need you anymore. I'll just go safe and go that defensive end.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think so. You know what?
Because that money drops.
I know.
1 to 3. 4.
Well, and I love it. I love the fact that there is a salary cap. And be honest with you, look, here's the deal, man. You get drafted, you go to the NFL. No matter where it is, you get to play the sport. This is what I always go back to.
So you didn't like Mark Sanchez getting $60 million guaranteed out of college?
And they got paid more, right? Yeah. They get paid more when Tannenbaum's like, "Well, you've been terrible. Yeah. Well, we'll give you more money.
We'll trade all of our draft picks for you.
We just because I feel bad that I inquired about Peyton Manning,
right.
I'm going to give you more money, Mark."
Yeah.
No, my thing is this. Look, I loved playing high school football, and playing college. And in high school, let's be honest, I was an all-county, all-league guy. I had a lot of numbers, held a lot of records. I didn't get to play at a big school, played at a small school, did really well, loved it. Would have loved to have had an opportunity to play in the NFL. As a wide receiver, I had the size, I just didn't have the speed or the quickness, let's be honest. But, I would have loved it. Mm-hmm. And I would have took any deal at the time.
Right.
I wasn't one of these guys. When football ended for me, it ended for me. I was okay. I moved on. But I would have took any deal at the time. But there's so many guys out there, it just doesn't end for them, who played at Division I programs, who are out there right now working out, trying to make it happen for themselves. So
that's why the Canadian Football League exists, some European teams.
Yeah, but the thing is, and speaking of that, the Jets, one of the guys passed on the Jets. He was one of the top wide receivers in the Canadian League, and passed on the Jets this week. But the thing of it is, I would just think anytime you get a chance to draft, no matter where you play in the NFL, you get a great jump on life. Undrafted free agent, good money. You're drafted in the 7th round,
$400,000.
good money. Exactly. Give your agent, pay your accountant, pay the taxes. You still got 6 figures.
Bank it away
right out of the bank.
Yeah.
And if you were somebody who had a full scholarship at college at the time, that was paid for.
Right.
Put it away.
And not to mention, these guys get room and board. So you don't have to pay for anything. You maybe have a family. I'm sure there's expenses there. Yeah. But for yourself, your travel is free. Your food is free. Your luxuries are free. You basically get to tour the town basically for nothing, unless you're, unless you want to go an extra mile or whatever. But
I mean, it probably costs a guy like Marty some money, touring the town a little much.
I would agree with that.
Probably should have stayed at a hotel lobbies a little bit. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there's
all those kids,
right? There's some players.
Crow was good for the Jets.
Yeah.
He was good.
Well, I mean, you talk about,
but that's another thing. Where's the responsibility? You are an NFL player. Every girl in the world... No, I shouldn't say that. Let me back up. There are a lot of women out there who are chasing the dollar, which means they know who you are. They may play naive, but they know where you are, and they want to be a baby mama.
Right.
Because they know if they're a baby mama, there's a good chance you're paying for it. I'm not saying every guy should, but there are women out there like that.
Oh no, definitely. They call jersey chasers.
I mean, the first time that if I was your agent or something, that's the one thing I'd be hammering home to you all day long. You put on that condom, you make sure you have that condom, you carry that condom, and if she won't let you take, you swallow that condom.
And you know what? Full disclosure here. I mean, for any females watching this or listening to this podcast. It's true. I mean, if you go, and we're not making things up, we're not being sexist.
No, I'm not being sexist.
There's pictures. You look at Edelman. Remember that Edelman picture? Where the girl took the picture, the after sex picture, right? Mm-hmm. It happened. How many athletes get that on Instagram, whatever app you want to?
It's got to be tough nowadays to be an athlete dealing with that stuff.
Oh, I agree.
But all I'm saying is, look, girl wants to have sex, you want to have sex, that's great. Be smart about it. Oh, I'm on the pill. Oh,
no.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
Of course she's telling you she's on the pill sometimes, and because she knows who you are. Actually, who was this athlete I was reading about? Who was telling me recently? I think he was telling me. He said, I forgot who. You know what? I won't even use his name anyway. But he got really upset because he found that he used this girl's phone for a second, and then he realized he had been Googling him to see his net worth.
Oh, that's good.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only so you can
pop
tell your
out
friends.
one baby, and all of a sudden you owe everybody.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I think Derek Jeter does it the best.
Derek did it. Well, you know what's great about Derek?
Bag on the way out.
Do you know what's great about Derek though? And no matter what, listen, I there's always been stories about Derek Jeter and stuff, but you know what? He's a single guy.
Yeah.
He's a single guy.
You see his apartment in the Trump Towers?
Yeah, whatever.
It's all the way at the top.
But the thing is, he's a single guy.
Yeah.
And if he wants to get involved with women and have, his relationships with women, nothing bad's ever really come out about him. He hasn't been cheating on his wives.
No.
He basically did it the right way. You know what? You can't blame him for that. For what? Being smart? That he wanted to be smart with his money? He didn't want to be paying alimony for the next 25 years of his life?
Yeah. No, if you look at an athlete as a role model, Derek Jeter.
I would say some people might object to that. Because but yes.
I mean, if you're looking at athletes, yeah.
If you are an athlete and you want to see the best way to do it with the least liabilities.
Right, or even, I'd even go a step further and say if you're a private person, or even if you want to be a private person, it could be something.
You never heard about Jeter.
You never hear about Jeter.
Nothing, yeah.
And even look at the hedge fund managers. I mean, there's a million.
And by the way, who knows? Maybe paid off a lot of people, but it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah,
he handled it right.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
So, or you could just be like Ryan Fitzpatrick and just be with your wife and your kids, and you just enjoy
have the best Wonderlic score of all time.
The best Wonderlic score of all time.
In the least amount of time.
Show up on Jimmy Kimmel. Was it Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon the other night? He did a skit.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, he did a skit with Prince on Malcolm.
I know Marshall was on Colbert.
Yeah, he was on Colbert.
Colbert.
I didn't see it though.
Yeah, it's great that they have all the Jets on now. Meanwhile,
it's right. Well, we're free. That's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're free now.
Yeah.
I mean, where we're at right now, I think we're kind of free, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, well, listen, guys, this has been really good chatting with you. We're really just figuring this out. Believe it or not, this is our first time sitting down together, me and Jim. So, we did something in the past, but we had another guy with us. But we were trying to do this whole routine and this whole formula, and it just didn't work out because, again, none of us wanted to present a blowjob class. No, we just wanted to talk sports.
Yeah, the problem with we'll research
Periscope.
We'll research what avenues we're going to go with in this stream. Obviously, this could either be something that people listen back to and saying, I want to listen to that first episode of this, guys. I've never heard that before. Or it just gets lost. But it'll be on a couple of different sites. Definitely YouTube. Perhaps something else. But, we'll try to do like an hour.
We should put it on
a week.
We should put it on our website together.
Yeah,
we should put our website together.
We don't know what we're going to be called yet.
No, I think two guys are red in the lager.
Well, do you have a Twitter you want to drop, just in case?
Well, everybody always follow me on MS Muldoon right now.
All right, so,
And what are you?
Fanatical Gyms with a PH.
Fanatical Gym,
with a
Jesus. PH.
So, if you have any questions or comments, if you love the stream, you hate the stream, you say, get the hell off the internet.
You guys are terrible, you shouldn't do this again.
Hit MS Muldoon, at MS Muldoon, or at Fanatical Gym, that's PH. Fanatical Gym. Let us know. We'll try to do this once a week.
Yep.
About an hour a week. It depends on... Now, next week, what we'll probably discuss is the after effects. Whether by the way, if Brady wins, I'll be crying into this mic for an hour. I will be... The expletives will be flying. Because it
can't do it again.
No.
Can't do it again.
I won't. I don't know if I'll watch the Super Bowl. I know that's blasphemy.
I know.
But I don't know. So, we'll break that down. Obviously, the Carolina game, I think at this table... Both of us are probably rooting for Carolina. Although I like to see Carson Palmer.
Here's the deal. So let's talk about really quick on the way out. And we're sorry to keep you guys a little bit longer, but let's talk about this. Okay. Broncos, Carolina, who are you rooting for? Broncos, Carolina, Broncos, Cardinals, who are you rooting for?
Well, a quick aside. I don't like Cam Newton.
Okay.
I think he's good with kids. I just think he's a dick.
Give me your answer, though.
Broncos,
Carolina.
Panthers. Yeah. Tough.
No, not betting. You're not betting.
No, I'm not even. I'm saying area-wise because I think it's great for the area.
I'm not even talking about area. Okay, I'm just like, but who would you say?
I'd like to see Peyton get the run.
Okay, so Peyton Cardinals.
I'd like to see Carson get the run.
Okay, that's not a bad.
Because I think he deserves it. I think he's been in this league long enough.
I get it.
And I think he's good enough.
So Patriots, Panthers.
Fucking ISIS.
That's fucked up.
I know.
But I know
we'll cut that one.
You won't watch that one. You won't watch that.
No, honestly, with Brady, I can't stand.
You got to look at the Panthers like this. Luke Kuechly, he gives a lot. You got to look at the Jonathan Stewarts, the Jericho Cotcheries. You got to look at those guys.
Yeah.
Get what it can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think honestly, first of all, you could say
Mike Jericho was great for the Jets.
Oh no, yeah.
Should have never got rid of it.
But you could say anybody versus Patriots. I'll take that anybody. I can't stand.
I think the ideal.
You would ever root for Brady? Would you ever root for Brady?
No.
In any circumstance.
The ideal thing for you right now is probably Broncos. No, Patriots, Cardinals. Cardinals roll the Patriots.
Oh my God.
That's your idea.
Well, I would take the Panthers rolling the Patriots.
Okay.
I'm full disclosure, I'm not a Patriots fan. If you're a Patriots fan, this is the wrong channel.
Wrong channel.
I'm going to smash the Patriots. Look, and it's not jealousy. Let's not talk about jealousy.
Just sick and tired.
It's about everything. There's a full package with the Patriots. You're talking about cheating. You're talking about the the excursions and the bullshit that we have to sit through in the offseason.
Robert Kraft and the hobnobbing with the NFL.
And Tom Brady blowing a white horse in the offseason with his wife and shit. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
And what about Tom Brady owning a salon or something that's across the street where the players all get the massage?
Or wearing fucking Uggs. Or like an Uggs salesperson.
Yeah.
And let's not
the Uggs isn't the problem. It's the thing that if he's capitalizing on money from the Patriots, that died pretty quickly. That his partner, who's been known in the whole in the direct response media world, is actually running something across the way from Patriot Way, of which the Patriots go to get salons, and Tom as an owner could be a salary cap violation.
I heard about
that went to the wayside pretty quickly. Because it feels like, to me, Robert Kraft is very chummy with the NFL.
Oh, yeah. Well, him and Jerry Jones.
Exactly.
That's the old boy stuff.
And that's why you got to love the Maras. You got to love the Rooneys. Yep. You got to love all those old families who could easily probably be exerting their wills or something, and are always like, no, it's the entirety of the game.
Oh, I agree.
That's it. I love it.
It's funny, too, because who did Brady left his ex-wife, that actress?
Bridget Monahan.
She was too old for him?
That? I didn't know that.
Basically.
No.
That's what basically, he had a kid with her. And all of a sudden, he met Giselle. You know what? It's not working out.
Do you know that I heard a story that Tom Brady's property, that he was doing. Somebody was doing construction one day, and they actually buried a Jets jersey on his property.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like that. What was it? When they built. Well, isn't that the rumor about the Meadowlands where Jimmy Hoffa is buried underneath?
No, but this one was that somebody was doing something on his property and thought
Yeah.
it'd be funny to bury a Jets jersey on it. So.
They did that at the new Yankee Stadium. They put David Ortiz's Red Sox jersey over there. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked because they haven't won. Well, they won one.
One.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Thanks for being with us. My name is Michael.
Jim, and remember, at MS Muldoon or at Fanatical Jim PH, any questions or comments, hopefully, like I said, this will be uploaded on a Friday, every Friday. And, we'll hopefully catch you next week. All right, thanks, guys, for tuning in.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye.